Hello, Cleveland! And yes, the obligatory Spinal Tap joke, because I am indeed here in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm going to show you around, because this place is all kinds of awesome. Let's go in and check it out. Cleveland, Ohio, the mecca of rock and roll, and the place you come to pay homage to all the legends in rock. Interestingly, this is my first ever visit to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is kind of a strange thing to admit, especially considering that I myself have been a rock musician for many, many years. Well, maybe not so much these days, but there was a time I splashed on a bunch of eyeliner, wore some tight pants, a leather jacket, and took to the stage. Yep, that's me. Look at that young whippersnapper. It was an absolutely crazy time in my life, but super, super fun. Well, the hangover's accepted. Now, you may be wondering why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is located in Cleveland, but it's quite simple, really. The city is known as the birthplace of rock and roll. Cleveland DJ Alan Freed is credited with first coining the term on his radio show in 1951. The city also held what is thought to be the first official rock and roll concert in 1952, though, fittingly, it was shut down due to overcrowding and, of course, rioting. Cleveland radio station WMMS-FM is also credited with helping to launch the careers of big names such as David Bowie, Bruce Springsteen, and Fleetwood Mac. Some really cool things to start off here as soon as you walk in the door. Some on-stage props from U2's 1992 Zooropa tour just hanging from the ceiling here overlooking the escalators. What a start. And my first stop here today is actually going to be the gift shop. Usually this is the last place I visit whenever I'm in a museum, but I'm gonna switch things up today. Let's check out what they got. You've got all the usual fare here in the gift shop. T-shirts, sweaters, postcards, hats, pins and magnets, glassware and trinkets, figurines, and then you've got the more interesting stuff like guitars and music gear, though not really sure why you'd ever in your life buy a guitar from here. And you can even buy records. Look at this ancient thing. Is that a ghetto blaster? There are a few floors here, but I am mostly interested in the basement, which is home to Exhibition Hall, aka the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum. Check this out. One of the most iconic places in rock and roll. The face and overhang from CBGB's in New York City. Very cool that they managed to save this after the venue closed down in 2006. There's the giant hot dog prop from U2's Zooropa tour. Wow, this is neat. I love the entrance photos to the men's and women's bathrooms down here. If you don't know, 1980s era Madonna and 1970s era Clash. Very cool. All right, let's head on inside Exhibition Hall, and it starts off recognizing hip-hop's 50th year, which I find a weird choice to have here considering hip-hop is definitely not rock and roll. In fact, there's a hip-hop museum located in New York City, but I digress. I love this, though. Brings back some really fun memories, and I'm going to date myself here a bit because the 1980s and early 90s is the era that I grew up in when hip-hop really started to become a force. I love seeing these old trainers, tracksuits, and turntables. Such a walk down memory lane. Run DMC, Public Enemy, Jay-Z, all the legends are here. Moving on to the roots of rock and roll portion of the museum here, which includes the early influences of the genre, including Les Paul. Yes, the guitar is named after him. Bessie Smith, Dinah Washington, and even Woody Guthrie. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff. The instruments and the clothing played and worn by legends on stage, as well as in the studio when classic albums and songs were recorded. This is the stuff that I find super, super interesting, and I am so excited to see it all. Wow, just so amazing. The hairs on the back of my neck are actually standing on edge, just being so close to some of these instruments. Wild stuff. These outfits are absolutely brilliant. Some of these names you may not recognize, but I assure you they played an integral part in the history and foundations of rock music as we know it today. Very, very cool.
There was so much color and clothing and dress and vibe, and the music was tremendously humpy.
Okay, it seems I've stepped into real legend territory here in this room. The king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. Check out this suit worn by Elvis from 1972. Absolute quality and truly a one-of-a-kind memento from one of the most influential artists of all time. Wow, just look at Elvis's custom Gibson acoustic with Elvis Presley actually inlaid on the fretboard. I couldn't even begin to fathom what this guitar would be worth on the open market. Over $1 million seems absolutely priceless in the world of music history. Some interesting memorabilia, letters, etc. from the Presley estate. Again, as priceless gets in terms of historical documents in music.
Elvis is just about a year out of high school.
Some instruments and equipment from Sun Studios in Memphis. I'd love to know what songs and albums these were used for back in the day. Just wild. Guitars and amplifiers from Chuck Berry. I'm kind of starstruck just seeing all this stuff in real life. A little overwhelmed, gotta be honest. Oh, wow. Check out Jerry Lee Lewis's actual piano circa 1944. You can really feel the energy emitting from this piece. Every single angry and loving note Lewis played is forever captured in the worn down keys. Just a stark reminder of what passion truly looks like. Absolutely amazing and inspiring. Ooh. And here's where things really start to get fun. The 1950s and 1960s era of rock and roll, from Wanda Jackson to the Animals to Herman's Hermits. Just look at all these amazing outfits. You can really just see the seismic shift in rock and roll based on fashion itself from the time and the stage outfits. And here's the most influential part for me here at the museum. Rock and roll's 1970s, early 80s punk era. The Clash, the Ramones. Check this out. These boots were actually worn by Sid Vicious, and a whole stage outfit from the Sex Pistols. Now that is rock and roll history. Very, very cool. Some New York CBGB's era submissions to the hall, including Talking Heads and the New York Dolls. Look at that. It's Judas Priest singer Rob Halford's stage-worn studded leather trench coat. Now that's so metal, man. Angus Young from AC/DC's schoolboy outfit, and as iconic a piece as they come here. And of course, there is an entire Beatles exhibit. Check this out. This is John Lennon's Mellotron. The crazy part of this is that this was the very Mellotron used to record Strawberry Fields Forever, one of the most identifiable intros of all time. I'm actually in awe. This is absolutely crazy. Jimi Hendrix and some of his guitars, stage outfits, and recording equipment, priceless pieces of music history, as with everything I've seen here today, really. Last but not least, here's an iconic outfit worn by Taylor Swift at the 2021 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, in which she inducted Carole King into the hall. Pretty neat. I really hope you enjoyed and had as much fun at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right here in Cleveland as I did. To be honest, I could have done without the rest of the Hall of Fame tour. I was only predominantly interested in the basement, and that is pretty much all that I showed you. But this entire building is filled with so many amazing things to do, but not for me, maybe for the family. For now, it is the Obscurist tour saying, so long, take care of yourselves, stay beautiful of all things, and until our next rock and roll adventure. See you later!